Boxing Truth here. I want to talk a little bit about Floyd Mayweather. He's continued to make statements now about 6 months into his retirement, almost 6 months into his retirement. He's just trying to remain relevant in the media so people can still talk about him, and whenever he returns, people will be excited about his return, whoever he fights in his return. He still has a strong legion of fans. They're gonna defend him to the death, even though there's a lot of damaging stuff about Floyd throughout his career. A lot of bad press and stuff he's done in the past that's gotten him into trouble. Stuff is about his career. The disappointing career he had when as soon as he started with Heyman. Pretty much after he left 130, his career just wasn't the same anymore. Became a different fighter. The Castillo fight pretty much changed everything about him. He was no longer that special fighter that I saw when I first saw him fight back in 1998. I saw a special fighter that night. But this is not going to be about Floyd's career. This is pretty much about his return. And the thing is, I really believe Floyd was considering returning in May of this year. There was rumblings. There were some interviews about, there was interviews with Heyman fighters that they were hearing rumors that Floyd was returning and May was possibly going to be the date. And it seemed that could have been the case. Looking back, Floyd went to the Danny Garcia fight, scouted him, looking to fight Danny because stylistically it's a good fight for Mayweather. It's a fight that because of his style, it just makes it problematic for Danny to win. That's not a style Danny's very good at. He's not good at chasing fighters and trying to land punches, creating offense. Just not a good style for him. So Mayweather was looking into a potential Danny Garcia fight, I believe, for May of this year. I think he was planning on returning in May, and the more I think about it, it's very, it has to be considered that, because considering how Golden Boy and Canelo and Khan kept that fight very secretive. I've never seen anything like it before recently. There hasn't been a fight that I can recall that was held such in secret. Like, it was sworn to secrecy. I've always heard something about fights getting made or fights potentially happen, and then usually they do, or they fall out. Other opponents get mentioned, but this is the one fight that really struck everybody by surprise. It affected a lot of people in the industry, and Mayweather was one of them. I mean, I believe he was planning on returning on that date. And Canelo and Golden Boy they one upped on Mayweather. They gave Mayweather a big big fuck you to Floyd and Heyman, and said, "Yo, we're taking that date. That's Canelo's dates now. He's a Mexican fighter. Those are Mexican dates. We're gonna take them over now since you retired. It don't matter if you want to come back. You're gonna need bigger name fight to get back your May and September dates." And I envision another funny situation arising in September now because Canelo and Golden Boy are gonna try to do the same thing again. They're gonna try to take the September date from Floyd and just one up on him again. Pretty much stating to him that Canelo's the cash cow now. If you want your date back, you're gonna have to fight a super name, a big fight, if you even want a chance of knocking Canelo off that date. And I know many Mayweather fans won't agree with this, but a Mayweather Danny Garcia fight is not a big enough fight to replace, a potential money fights for Canelo in September. If he wasn't gonna, he threatened to stop the fight, but I don't think he can. I don't think Mayweather can. So it's gonna be a funny situation come September. It's gonna be, what's gonna happen after April? What's gonna happen after April 9 in Las Vegas? What's gonna happen after May 7th in Las Vegas? And I believe Pacquiao and Canelo will win their fights, their respective fights against Bradley and against Khan. Now, I don't believe Pacquiao is retiring. I just don't. He has too many freeloaders around him. He spends his money. He gives a lot of his money away. He's an ambassador to the sport. He helps people. He he pretty much gives a lot of it away to charities. That's just who man he is. So he's got a lot of people hanging around him. So he's definitely, I believe, will come back for at least one more fight, and it will be a money fight, the biggest payday he could get. And now Canelo, he's got a lot of options if he gets past Khan. If he gets past Amir Khan, and I believe he will. If he does, I believe Canelo he could opt to vacate the belt if that's what the WC will do. If it's true that Loeffler, Golden Boy, Canelo, GGG have a written agreement that if Canelo does not fight Gennady next after Khan, then he will be stripped. So Canelo, if that is true, Canelo may opt to strip, to be vacated, to vacate the belt in order to continue to fight at Canelo weight for at least one more fight. And I believe that fight would be a Manny Pacquiao fight. Oscar's been mentioned in the past numerous times. He would love to make a Canelo Pacquiao fight. To me, it's a better fight than Canelo Khan. I believe Pac has a hell of a shot at beating Canelo if they were to fight. And depending what happens on April 9 as well, that will also influence my decision on that fight. It's a big fight. It's a money-making fight, money fight, two big names. Weight disparity, but one's a great fighter, one's hasn't proven yet to be a great fighter. So it kind of evens it out. A great little man versus a good big man, but great little man has more skill, more speed, more footwork, very awkward, southpaw, a lot of combinations against a good big man who throws good combinations, doesn't let his hands go that much, and not the fastest of foot, takes fights in spurts. It'd be an interesting fight. So Mayweather, if he wants to come back in September, he has to find a big fight. It has to be a big fight, and it has to be bigger than Danny Garcia. It can't be the path of least resistance. He has to fight a fight where people feel that the opponent has a chance against Mayweather. It's not the safest route he could choose. If he fights Triple G, a lot of people are talking about Floyd Triple G in the YTVC. I don't see that fight ever happening. Yeah, Floyd's saying he'll be easy work. He'll trash him, but he won't fight him. Talk is cheap. I don't care what Floyd says he'll do to GGG. Will he fight GGG? No, I don't think he will. He hasn't taken those type of risks in all of his career. He hasn't done that. He hasn't shown any interest in moving up to middleweight. He could have fought Cotto for the middleweight title. He could have fought Canelo for the middleweight title. He could have came back and fought Canelo for a rematch in May, I'm sure Oscar would have been open to that fight. He stated through the media he'd make that fight if Mayweather was interested in a rematch with Canelo. So he could have fought him for the middleweight title then, but for some strange reason he hasn't done that. You know, two fighters he beat held the middleweight title, the lineal middleweight championship, and he didn't jump at that opportunity to make those fights. He didn't. Those would have been legacy defining fights for him, you know, to move up and fight for the lineal middleweight title. But he didn't do that. Is it because he wants to avoid Triple G? Is it because he doesn't want a lot of fans putting pressure on him to fight Triple G? Is that why he hides his fight night weights, so people won't find out what he truly weighs on fight night, so they won't pressure him to fight GGG? I mean, his boy Stephen A. Smith even will admit that Floyd should stay away from Triple G. He should not fight Triple G. He would get hurt by GGG. So no, I don't see that fight happening. I don't need to see that fight. It'll be a big fight. It'll be a big event. It would solidify the date for Mayweather if he was to fight Triple G, and he would get tremendous props if he fights Triple G. Even if he moves up to 160 and fights him. A catch weight, a reasonable catch weight like a 58, okay. But if he were to move up and beat Triple G, he would get massive props. I mean, this really just, I mean, he would get tremendous props if he were to move up and do that. But he's not gonna do that. He hasn't done that type of risk. I mean, there's rumors of him being forced to fight Manny Pacquiao. After all the talk and the bullshit, the back and forth, the taking sides, there was rumors that he was forced to fight Manny Pacquiao. That Les Moonves, the guy that owns CBS, gave Heyman and Mayweather ultimatum, pretty much stating to them that if you don't fight Pacquiao, we're not gonna. The contract is void. We're not gonna continue our relationship with you. We're not interested in two more showcase pay-per-views. Either fight Pacquiao or we're done. This is according to sources. So, but that's what Mayweather has to do. He needs to find the biggest name possible. It doesn't even have to be Triple G. It could be a Pacquiao rematch. And that's a very great possibility that fight could happen. That, you know, there's just too much money on the table. That fight's even bigger than a Triple G, in my opinion. The Mayweather-Pacquiao 2 rematch, of course. And that would be the best opportunity for Floyd to come back and to maintain his September date from Canelo. Unless Canelo, it's going to be interesting. If Canelo fights GGG, Canelo GGG, Mayweather Pacquiao 2, competing for the September date. But I don't see Canelo fighting Triple G yet. Not this year. It's going to be an interesting situation. But, you know, Pacquiao may retire. He may not retire. But the four biggest names in boxing right now, among the four, because Triple G's star is rising. I mean, Skip Bayless is starting to talk about Triple G. And he's a casual fan. You can get the casual fan's perspective from Skip Bayless. He's starting to talk about Triple G. So his shit's going up. He's becoming a marquee attraction. He's fighting a complete no-hoper on the 23rd in Dominic Wade. And look how many tickets he's already sold. It's on pace to be a sellout. So he's a proven attraction, even against, doesn't even matter the opponents now. So it's a very interesting situation. What's going to happen after April 9, after May 7th, both in Las Vegas. If Mayweather comes back, it's gonna be he's gonna have to do some maneuvering, you know, play chess with his competitors, like with Golden Boy. He's gonna have to try to checkmate them in order to solidify the September date, and that's getting the biggest name possible. Whether that's a Canelo rematch, so he doesn't lose the September date, whether that's a Manny Pacquiao rematch, or he could fight Triple G. One of those three in order to keep that date. Y'all let me know what y'all think. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.